Oi, oi! Hello and welcome to episode 3 of season 2, Ranting and Racing. Dave here from Cheltenham. Jamie here from Cheltenham. We'll keep referring to him as that. Jamie, we're going to try and be a bit more concise this week. Is it physically possible? Who knows? We'll do this little bit of an intro. We'll talk a little bit about some upcoming content. With thanks to you, we managed to secure a guest for a preview on Wednesday. We'll touch on that a little bit. We've obviously got Chepstow season opener. Although we've not got the final decks, we've got the entries, so we're going to skim over some of them. We have got final decks at Punchestown for the next couple of days. So again, anything we fancy there, stay tuned. We'll let you know what we fancy in that. Plenty to rant about. I know that we're both a bit tired and fatigued, so hopefully it won't take much for us to poke it. We'll do some Q&A as well. So again, guys, I genuinely appreciate all the interaction and the support and stuff. So if you do have any questions, fire them through on the old live chat as we're going through the evening. We'll pick them up as and when we can. Maybe it will split things up. But yeah, I mean, Jamie, how are you doing first and foremost? Let's just get that going.
Good, Dave. Not a bad weekend punting.
Ooh, straight into the punting.
Not too bad, I suppose. Yeah, I had a good day Saturday.
Go on.
I backed Gavin Cromwell's horse at 7-1 on the Friday night, and he drifted to 12-1. Vera Verto. I had a big bet at the start today on Kitty Rose, and I was kind of chasing for the rest of the day. Thanks to Daryl for Emiratiana and Ascot, that one. And I had a good bet on a horse that I think could have a decent shout at a National Hunt Chase with the form behind Manor Mission and Chepstow Warrior, and a horse called Flanking Maneuver. I backed him, and yeah, he's a lot of experience, and it could be a horse down the line for National Hunt Chase, to be honest with you. I was kind of impressed with him, to be honest with
you. Yeah, fair.
Yesterday, but the seconditis, and I just threw the whole lot on General Madrano and one at Utoxter. I don't back a Kelso. I just don't. It's a rule of thumb for me. I just don't. There's no point. I just don't win money there, so I just don't bother. Just a couple of seconds. The first one at Brook Bay yesterday, 11-1 second. Magical King second. I can't remember 1 second. I thought, you know what? I'll just go for General Madrano, the one you really fancy, and it won. So it wasn't a bad weekend. No, not major. Couple of
good man. That's the key thing, I think, sometimes, isn't it? There's certain venues
for a poor weekend. Yeah. For a poor weekend, Dave, it's poor enough. You know, you're kind of in the end of lull type period now, aren't you? Really, like.
Yeah. Well, viewers would have potentially gone and checked out GG Weekend Watch. I had I can't remember the name of him. Commander Crouch was one that ran quite well, to be fair, in the auction states. Came second. That was semi-annoying because he never really traded that short, but was 33 second. In that Emiratiana race, I put up terrible, wasn't it? Oxted's brother, Chipstead, right? First time cheap pieces. Bet 365 we're doing first four, or you can extend the place wherever you want, can't you? 4 or 5. I did in first 4 each way as well. That's not what I advised. I advised in first 3. He was a neck away from coming fourth at 16 from the bet on there. So that cost me a few quid. But one of those Saturdays, right? I advised a few, put a few in there. Was damage limitation. I guess we got a little bit of a place, but I haven't really bet on much else. There was some good dog racing Friday at Romford, but there was nothing I could really get stuck into. And I've been sort of keeping my powder dry in the wake of the dog. He isn't dead, by the way, but in the wake of him going to the vets and costing a few quid. We know that there's some better racing coming up. So as much as there's things I can have opinions on, and I'll back everything that I'll put up like on GG or on here, I've been waiting a little bit now for some better stuff. So speaking of the better stuff, we have got Chepstow. What do we want? Do we want to go a little bit ranty now, then do some Chepstow and Punchestown stuff? Do we want to actually, should we, before we go ranty, let's just touch on a little bit of the upcoming content. So you have secured I'd say very high profile guest for the channel on Wednesday. Are we allowed to say who it is? Are we going to give any clues? Anything?
I'm a person who gives nothing away, Dave. They'll have to see. And yeah, I suppose, yeah.
I would like to confirm, though, bar the editing I did of Leona Mayer's video, and that's not in that way of editing the videos for Leona Mayer, but apart from that one with the Matt Chapman, where the value, blazing cow. I mean, he could be the value for this round of Rose this year. It's a female. Can I say it's a female, or is it a female? It's the first female on Cheltenham, isn't it?
It's the first female on Cheltenham. We'll leave it at that.
And that's it. There's only one thing for first, isn't there? So yeah, Wednesday we've got a female on the show, so extra bonus to tune in. And that's not the reason. Very knowledgeable about horse racing. I'm sure you guys might be able to throw some guesses in there, but I don't know whether you'll be able to guess. I don't think you'll be able to think that we could secure this. Also with the upcoming content, right? GG Weekend Watch. I'm doing that for the foreseeable future on the Thursdays. Love doing that. Appreciate the support I'm getting from them. That's flat racing mostly. It's always the same every year. Chepstow's on it, and it's never on ITV. But stuff them. We'll be doing the flat preview, so I'll have some bets in there. But I will be also putting up all my bets for Friday at Chepstow and anywhere else because some other decent jump racing, and I will also do the same for Saturday's bets. So I'll speak to you, Jamie, as the week goes on. Maybe we'll grab some of the bets if you want to shove them up. But I'll do a video Thursday night, probably Thursday night, a short one, telling you everything I'm going to bet on Friday. I'll tell you about prices, all that sort of stuff. But basically, if anything I say I'm going to bet, I'll bet. I'll tell you if it's too low, and then you can leave them, but just bollocks and bet them all. And then I'll do the same Friday night for Saturday. So there'll be 2 more videos coming out. Wednesday, we're doing that preview with the guest, and we'll be able to get in depth with all the races. So like I said, the Thursday, Friday videos be a bit shorter, essentially just telling you what we're betting. And then there's bundles, more stuff that's coming up after. But the main thing you guys need to remember is every Monday, 9 o'clock, Ranting and Racing. Send it in if you want to give it a bit. Get involved, appreciate it. Punt, gamble, gamble, gamble. Let's move on to the ranty bit, Jamie, because I know you're boiling to say something. I'm just going to go to the emails, right? Because we only had one in this week. So if anyone had sent it in, I mean, they could have been top of the show. I haven't bought the bets. We've left it in the car. But you know, Boz, we gave him the 25 quid for Sandor Cleggan. Yeah. Finally put it on today. And it was funny in William Hill because I didn't want to do it on my card because they have to put the money back on the card, didn't they? So I said, can I pay with my card to load up a machine so someone else can collect the slip? The woman said, you're not allowed to bet in it. And I said, what do you mean I'm allowed to bet in it? She goes, you've just told me you're putting a bet on for someone else, so you're not allowed to bet in it. And I was like, I'm taking the mick. So it's a competition thing. I'm just trying to give it away. She's like, yeah, but you probably go into all the shops to put your bets on, don't you? Anywho, there's a bloke in there that gave me a little nod and just said, like, come back in a minute. She went off for a break, went back in, and he put the bet on. But he said, like, technically, if we know it's your bet and someone else comes in to collect it, we shouldn't pay it to them because we don't know if they've stolen the bet or anything. But weird. But anyway, the bet's on. And this reads quite nicely into the rant. It's from Mick Glees. I think he's happy with his name going in there. Hi, I love the show, blah, blah. But sometimes I miss the name of the horse you're talking about. You're mumbling or potentially his deafness. And it would be great if you could flash up on the screen and you talk about just an idea. So yeah, Stop Mumbling was the title. I obviously do mumble a bit. I'm going to do that, mate. When we're trying to talk about, I'm going to try as best as I can. We've got these little banners at the bottom, right? If we talk about stuff, I'll see if I can edit the name or race that we're talking about. There's a few things else I want to cover, right? I'm going to quickly just skim through them without going into any depth before we go to Jamie, just so you viewers out there know what you're staying tight for. Obviously, I had the terrible outcome on Sunday for the ill-fated I Like to Move It. It's something I need to talk about in the wake of when that sort of stuff happens, which riles loads of people, but luckily it wasn't as bad as it could have been. We're going to touch on the racing on Wednesday. Greyhound freebie that I gave away on Twitter, I'll quickly touch on that. No one really was interested in it going into a competition. I know loads of people don't bet on the dogs. The guy who I gave the freebie to is top of it in the first round, like absolutely smashed it up. So I'll keep you guys posting on that. I'm also doing a 10 to follow for Gigi, a written comment, but I'm going to do a video on that. So that'll be out in the next couple of weeks. So you'll be able to find out some of them on there. We've talked about the Wednesday bit, and we've talked about the Thursday, Friday bit. Right, I'll come back to my rant in a minute. Jamie, take a nice deep breath, unleash, let the people hear what you've got to say, please.
Right. First and foremost, Dave, I'm not giving out about this person. I'm not giving out about her work ethic. I'm not giving out about where she is in the world when it comes to horse racing. She is a presenter on ITV. She is doing a bet for a podcast with our esteemed former colleague, if we're going to call him now, or is he still part of us? And I'm going to quote her, what she said. And it just got under my skin a small bit. I am not giving out about her. Best of luck to her. Best of luck to her. I wouldn't begrudge anyone nothing. It's just a quote that I saw on Twitter. It just interests me. And then I went in and did a bit of deepness into it, and I saw the article. And I'm going to say what she said. I have the right to say that. I've done a good enough job myself, says the 26-year-old. I have to give Dad a lot of credit, Paul Nichols, for the opportunity he has given me within racing. However, has very much been a father and a mentor when it comes to my flat racing and media. He's a horse trainer with 24/7 commitments. I feel like I've got on my own 2 feet and done my own thing. Fair play to her. I very much hope that I have proven that I've got opportunity through my own hard work, not because of those around me. And then she went on to quote that she got an opportunity in racing TV and event ITV. What I'm stressing is the hard work. Do me a favor, please. So, you know, to me, would you say that about our former colleague? That did he work hard to get into the industry? Oh, yes, he did. Do you know what I mean? But that sort of stuff bugs me. She is a bloodstock agent. She's a agent for 2 jockeys. What more do you want? Do you know what I mean? Don't be coming around and say that's just my opinion. Don't be coming around to me and saying, "Yeah, it's your hard work that you get it." No, it's not because of my father. Of course it is. Come on, please. Just be grateful. She should be grateful for what she has. No, I like the girl. I like listening to her. I have no problem with her at all. I just want to make the point that it's just stressing the hard work part, please. Do me a favor.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
I
mean?
mean,
That's very annoying for the ordinary Joe Sup watching the game. We're trying to attract people to this game, and it's like, is it the case that I'm not questioning that girl probably had to get up in the morning and ride out horses in the freezing cold at 5-6 o'clock in the morning. I envy her for it. Fair play to her. That's what she wanted to do. But don't be coming around to say it's hard work then to get into a media job. If my father was Aidan O'Brien and I had an opportunity to get into the media, of course I'm going to use that. And that's what she's used, which is fine. She might not have used it that way. I might be totally quoting off the radar altogether. But the hard work part, it really annoys me. Like, come on, like.
Yeah, well, I
That's
mean,
just
we're all
me.
entitled
That's
to
just
an
me.
opinion, aren't we? I would
Yeah.
say that when she was first on ITV, I found it quite uncomfortable to watch because, and I felt a little bit sorry for her because I feel like she was thrown straight into the spotlight when I don't think she was ready to do it. And she has massively improved, but sometimes I listen on racing TV and I feel like she's got an opinion on something that I don't necessarily agree with. Like, you know, when you hear someone say nonsense because you know the subject matter yourself quite well, just because she's in racing doesn't mean she knows more than someone like, well, an average Joe from a studying perspective. She might know more about riding and all those sorts of things, but yeah, I do. She definitely has improved a load since she started. Like, she definitely has put some graft in there. But yeah, I get like there is. She's had a leg up, isn't she? It's difficult, I suppose, though, isn't it? If you like, if she's like, she'll always be Paul Nicholls' daughter, wouldn't she? And she probably wants to try and get away from.
She wants to create her own
she?
identity, and I absolutely understand, and I get that. But just keep your mouth shut and just get on with it.
Well, all the best to her anyway. She seems to be doing right.
All the best to her. 100%. I wouldn't begrudge anyone that. It's just like, just get on with it. You know, you're there. You're getting better at what you're doing.
Yeah, I don't. Regardless of whether she needed the help up or not, because I know like Kate that does the stuff on GG and on, she's got it seven to loads of Sky Sports stuff, William Hill Radio. She was nothing to do with racing at all, but she got into it because she wanted to do it. So I think she got into through careers in racing or something like that. Then she started to work. I think she worked at Tom George's yard, so she just started riding out. So she does all the same sort of like entry level stuff, but she hasn't had anyone to give her a leg up into it. Like, that has come off her own back. But again, like it's hard though, isn't it? Because it's not her fault that Paul Nicholls is her dad. But I guess regardless of it, although she has potentially paved the way herself, she can't ever ignore the fact that she's Paul Nicholls' daughter. And that may have been a part of it. You can't you don't want to like get rid of that. Anyway, your rant, not mine. I don't want to cause offense to anyone. I know Scott is right. But to me, it is that like she stresses, she works hard as well. I know she does. I think it's maybe more maybe it's more the minimizing part of it, that it's like nothing to do with the fact that she's her daughter's dad. Maybe anyway. I'm going to rant on. I like to move it right. I feel this is a difficult one to broach with anyone. It's a difficult one, right? So like this is a very different scenario. But when Sir Eric did his leg. And it was obviously horrible. One of the most uncomfortable times I've ever been at a race course. I remember being there when the Thistle cracked Cloudy Glen, when he passed after the line, like the silence at the race course when this sort of thing happens in there. I remember when I saw Sandsend, I think it was the O'Sullivan Bloodstock horse ridden by Ruby's sister, that snapped its leg and was just wobbling like that. It's the worst thing, right? Like a death in racing, like it's rank. And then Ben, the only reason I brought the Ben Key thing, potentially not his fault. Like the favourite got beat and he was booming that the favourite got beat. It's distasteful, like it's bad. It shouldn't happen. And in the wake of I Like to Move It, my dad messaged me and said, I like to move it out today, can't wait to see him. And then I just saw the message from him and didn't see the race live saying that he'd, oh no. And then obviously like it is sad. And I feel like in the main, everyone was quite respectful. But one that killed me is Darren Birdie, that does the caricature stuff. Tattersall Sales published after saying like chasing fire that won the race. This is like maybe I think 2 hours after the race, tagging everyone, saying how great it was that Chasing Fire won the race. And at the end of the day, right, the horse that's won the race deserves the credit for going and winning the race. but maybe not straight away. Like give it a day or so, and then we can look back on reflection and say, look, he earned it, or whatever it was. So Tattersall shared that. The people that were tagged in there, like the race course, Ollie Murphy and stuff, were liking the tweet. They were the only people that did. And then Darren Birdie at the bottom of it shared like the caricature that he's drawn of Chasing Fire with a link to his shop, trying to like obviously doing for some sort of advertising. And I would just imagine like, I know, and I would imagine that any single person that potentially wanted to buy the item is now less likely to buy it because he's posted on there. Like I think it's negative publicity for him, but I don't understand what's in people's heads unless he didn't see the result. And then he's just seen the tweet and then he's just posted it after. But then that's still ignorant from him to potentially leave it up. But like, I hate that sort of stuff. And it's also the thinly veiled when people are like, oh, like it's not a time like this to celebrate a success when things like that happens. Well, don't fucking put a tweet up then saying that you tipped it earlier, but pretending you don't want to tweet about it. Just don't tweet about it, essentially. And I know it's difficult because people have got followers and all that sort of stuff. And like, you don't want to just ignore because bad things do happen. But it does make me a little bit sad when that sort of stuff happens. And again, if people are trying to do it for some sort of gain, I don't get it. Like he could have shared the post without a link to his shop for Chasing Fire, which would have minimized it from my perspective. Like he would have been doing it just to show, like, to do it for the horse. He wasn't doing it for the horse. He shared a link to his shop. So it pisses me right off. Right. I feel like that's as far as I want to go into it.
I totally agree too.
And again, like I'm not saying that like people don't like lack empathy or something, but like I genuinely find it really difficult when like something happens to a horse, like seeing it and like the time we were there for the Sir Eric thing, I was there with my dad. One of my dad's mates is one of my mates as well, but there was a few of us there. Like genuinely, we were like, I mean, we didn't go home, but we were like, we don't want to be there anymore, and it made me question like bets and everything for the day, trying to celebrate anything after. Like it's rank, isn't it? But
it's terrible, but
part of the sport, isn't it?
Part of the sport, unfortunately.
Right. I feel like we'll leave it at that. You guys, if you've got any comments and stuff or questions, we have had a few that sent through. Shall I quickly skim through them and then we'll look at the racing for Punchestown the next couple of days and we'll go fast forward to Chepstow. There's one at Chepstow that I've already had a bet on. I would advise everybody out there to get stuck in. A friend of mine who's keen on him as well is going to try and find out from the yard if he's definitely running or not, because obviously it is short-term anti-post. It is suicide, long time in the game, but yeah, I'll allude to that in a second. Should we quickly skim through the comments, see if there's anything good in there?
Do you?
Oi, Lee. Good to see you, Lee. People even considering an Ergamin for the Ryanair is wrong. He's Willie's first dual champion chase winner. And just because El Fabers look good, an Ergamin shouldn't downgrade to the Ryanair. The race people forget. 100 million billion% agree. What do you make of it, Jamie?
He's definitely running the Ryanair chase. I don't know why everyone's even contemplating that he's going to run in the Ryanair. He's going for 3 champion chases in a row.
He's got to, isn't he?
Like, even if Paul Townend, I still think Paul Townend would ride Fabiola anyway, so that Energamin's up for grabs.
And they don't care because Chacon Poursoir before, when Patrick was on him, would have had like a proper chance. I think when he was in there,
exactly,
doesn't really matter, does
so it doesn't really matter. So now, as I said, ground wise doesn't really matter for Fabiola. It looks like, where I still think Energamin is a little bit more ground dependent. So, but look, he's ground the last 2 Wednesdays of Cheltenham. Even it's not going to be like a road, so look, he'll be fine underground. You know what I mean? But
it's
definitely going to be an Ergamin, and Fabiola. Yeah.
They'll go against each other. Do you think before Cheltenham as well? Because that helps Paul decide, doesn't it? I think Dublin Racing Festival is a 2-mile chase there, isn't there?
They will,
no.
I think Fabiola running that in Dublin Racing Festival, and an Ergamin will come over again for the Clarence House.
Yeah, fair. Right, well that's good, but yeah, I agree with you, Lee. And it always offends me when that sort of stuff happens. And there's even why I got so boiled last year about the appreciator type thing. Ends up running a 3-mile chase, didn't he? But at the time that it is, when a horse is doing something, you have nothing else to base it on. If a Nergamine like bombs at 2 miles, needs to step up and trip, they step up and trip, and then it looks good. It will be at that point that they've decided to go for the Ryanair. So anyone to say that they've always been planning it all along, as it stands at this moment in time, he's going for the champion chase unless otherwise proven.
Nergamine will probably do the four runs, Dave. I'd say Nergamine will go to, like he always goes to Cork for the Hilly Way in December, Clarence House in January, Cheltenham in March, and Punchestown in April.
I'd pay good money to see it. I'd pay good money to see El Fabiola come over to try and spank John Bonnet Sandown, because I thought John Bonnet at the back end of the season was as good as I've ever seen him, and I think he improved from Cheltenham. But I pray that Willie does that.
Willie won't be shy of bringing, like, where else? Like, can you think of anything?
Did him to Altior before, didn't he?
Yeah, there's like isn't there a grade 2 at Navan at the start of the year? Maybe he'll go there at the start if he avoids the Tingle Creek.
Well,
Maybe have
let's
a
get
run
him
there
over
and
for the
go to
Tingle
Tingle
Creek
Creek.
anyway. Scotty Rodsley's over for the Tingle Creek as well, so I'm going to have a word with Willie, see if we can get El Fab over. Right, Joel Hawkey. Good evening, Joel. Evening, lads. Want to throw a dark horse out there for the Brown Advisory Novices Chase. Walking on Air, 33. Mike Bite wasn't special overheads, but won this before winning a King George. Looks wide open. Yeah, a few people have talked about him. The funny thing is, you picked the right show to mention Walking on Air. Jamie, you liked the horse last year, didn't you?
Yeah, I like that horse. Yeah. It's not a dark horse in my book.
I
No,
agree, but
really like the
33s,
horse.
I suppose, from the price is probably a bit more of
It's
an
a great
unforgotten
price.
horse,
Yeah, I
isn't he?
wouldn't put you off. And yeah, he's kind of a forgotten horse. But look, wait to see him in public first and just make your judgment then. But look, there's nothing wrong taking a poke at 33 to 1.
Yeah, agreed. I like it. Good work, Joel. Okay, Liam Firkin, I'm putting it on El Capitano Teague. That is not the bet that I will be suggesting. Oh, yeah. Evening, chaps. Heard that bookies are getting rid of best odds guaranteed. You heard anything? Well, to be fair, like lots of them have stopped doing it overnight.
Lots of them have stopped doing it overnight.
Yes, Betfair, right? Like if you do the right thing on Betfair and bet on the exchanges, you want the 2% commission, so you lose the concession, so you don't get best odds guarantee with them anyway. Skybet, obviously, when they do their extended places, remove best odds guaranteed. So I guess it is all part of something that's going to happen. This is why I'm really keen with the profit and loss that I share for GG and a lot of my punting now to just do it to SP and to Betfair SP, because I know there's always been the long, hard part in the past where people have said you need to beat SP to make money. Like you have to have the value. You need to be getting 2 to 1 on an even money shot, all of those things, which is true. But I do think now that the market correction that happens closer to the time of the race, you will get horses that will go off at 2 to 1 that probably should be shorter just because of liabilities and volume of money and stuff. So they probably are going to get rid of them. I wouldn't worry about it, to be honest with you. It's one of those that, if anything, it does you a favor when best odds guaranteed goes, because it makes you realize if the overnight price is the price that you want, you just commit, take it, and just accept you're not always going to get it right. Whereas if you're waiting for the morning for best odds guaranteed, you can be annoyed. It's just one of those. But yeah, I haven't heard anything more concrete. Right, let's go on to a bit of racing. Right, should we want to do Chepstow first, or do you want to have a look at? Should we talk about Wednesday? Because we've got a Dream to Share going in the maiden hurdle, didn't he? Got Conflated, Melarindo, pretty decent race. You looked at them?
Yeah, there's a few. Was it tomorrow? There's not really much tomorrow, is there? Really, I was looking. I'm just looking through it here now. There's a few. Right, that's about Zanya here and Run for Oscar, isn't it?
Oh yeah, Zanya should absolutely eat him up, shouldn't he? But they're all risky races to get involved, aren't they? So like, obviously, it's exciting because we have got some decent racing. I say decent racing. We've got Punchestown on it, so it makes us get excited. Is this the sort of card where you'll almost try and force yourself to have a bet, or do you, over years of experience, just understand that maybe you have to wait?
Just watch tomorrow. It looks real watching brief, Dave, doesn't it? Really, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's not
but
great.
Wednesday looks all right. What do you make of a Dream to Share? Because it's up against the one that you're not so keen on anyway, Facile Mode.
Mode, it should win, Dave, shouldn't it? Really.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I see a lot of people giving out about the Desire, Moharar, and has done nothing over hurdles. You can't judge the horse until it jumps a hurdle in public.
Agreed.
I know it's ridiculously short at the moment for the Supreme, what he did in his bumper, but I understand where people are coming from that side because of the value is gone. Do you know what I mean? Already, and hasn't even jumped a hurdle in public. But just give the horse a little bit of a chance. I understand 100%. Where people are coming right from, but just give him a chance. He's going to be stupid odds on, I presume.
2 to 7 he is at the moment.
2 to 7. My God.
We remember Facile Vega. Was it Facile Vega got done at 1 to 20 or something on debut? 1 to 12 or something? 1 to 14? Can happen. They can need a run.
Is that Kilcrut?
Oh yeah. Maybe it was Kilcrut. Yeah.
Kilcrut got beat by Larky Debut Cork at 1 to 14.
That was the one. Yeah, Larky Debut could be back for a resurgence this year. Maybe in my 10 to follow. Probably not.
No. Then you have Hercule Desai will probably win that race. 3.
Okay, good. No, you finish it, and I'm going to go back and tell you where you're wrong about the Hercule de Sul race. I'll tell everyone on here a bet to have.
Okay, right.
Every single one of you, I'll give you a bet. Balls deep again.
Right. So, who are you thinking for the stars best for racing race? Conflated, Benedindo, or Delta Bar?
What time was that?
Fighter Allen, Panda Boy, and Hurricane George. You have no chance. What's the betting?
So you got 10 to 11 conflated. You got 11 to 4 Manila Indo, 5 to 1 Delta Work, 16s Fighter Allen, Panda Boys 16s, and Hurricane Georgie 33 to 1. Those prices are correct at the time of recording. I think they're Ladbroke prices as well. So even if we forget the prices, forget everything, right? I know there's recent stuff that's gone on, but if you were to run through a market order conflated, what would your voice of opinion be on his standard? Remember, this is a grade 3 miles. Do you reckon trip, class, track? It's about his bag, or do you reckon he's better than this?
Well, there's a rumor going around now that he's going to be a cross country horse for next year. So I don't know. Delta Work, sure, he's only run for a try. I would definitely back him into 11 to 4 because I think it's a good first time out. It was a good first time out last year, and I can't see conflated first time out being fully cherry right. Indo is at the back end of its career. Sure, it'd be fine tuned for tomorrow. Sorry, Wednesday. So 11 to 4. I first time out getting £6 from conflated. I'd back Manila Indo all day.
What about Fighter Allen? Because obviously it took him a little while to get going.
No. God, he's crap.
Step up in trip, all of that. Paul Townend still riding. He wouldn't just go for the sake of it, would he?
No.
All right, so you're betting Manila Indo there. I would.
It's Manila Indo for me.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a bet in the race. If it's not, but if it was the other way around, if Manila Indo is an even money favourite and conflated was 11 to 4, I mean, it's obvious because we could all see the same. But I would back conflated if he was a bit of a price because I think it's his race to lose. But at even money, we've seen plenty of these shorties that need the run, whatever it is, you don't want to get involved in. So I'd be against it. Anyway, just back to that 335, right? This Hercule de Sul it's been like pretty impressive, right, in what he's been doing. But let's not get too carried away with a summer jumper, right? I know there's some that can do all right. If you go back to Ballon Robe when he got beat 8 to 13, right? And if you go back and watch the race, I don't see any valid reason why he got beat. Senator, or however we say it, was the horse that beat him and beat him on merit off a level weights. That horse is in here at 14 to 1 and it gets £9 from Hercule de Sul. They're both 6-year-olds. They both had similar racing. And I know Senetia has fallen, it's made mistakes. But in that race against Sharjah, where Sharjah jumped out to the right, Sharjah was so eye-catchingly impressive. This horse fell a long way from home. So I don't know. If he'd have stood up and run close to Sharjah, God forbid he would have done, he'd be much shorter price in here. I just think that simple line of form, right, where it's beating them, I reckon that Senech's worth a bet. And I reckon a few people will latch onto it. That should be 5 or 6 to 1. So I will be betting that. I'll see if we can get 3 places with some bookie. I know Bet365 will do our extended each way extra. So see if we can get someone there. But it is just the 6 runners at the moment. We may have lost Jamie Wren, everybody. This is probably the best news for any of you out there. Anyone else had a look through the Punchestown card? Got any fancies that they like? Oh, God, it looks hideous when we do that, doesn't it? Let me see if I can take the overlay off until he comes back. Right, you'll have to bear with us. I think maybe his phone's gone. But anyway, so we'll talk about this sort of stuff. I'll have a look through Chepstow because, I mean, you're mainly here for my stuff anyway, aren't you? We'll talk about Chepstow, the one that I fancy. Friday, we've got the entries in. We got Saturdays in today, didn't we? So the entries, but we haven't got the declarations. As I say, Wednesday, so what day are we on today? Monday. Wednesday, we'll have the preview coming out, and we're going to be going for every single race, and we'll be looking at what's going on. Jamie's gone up in smoke. He hasn't he? Oh, live TV, right? Right. Anyway, so Friday, right? I'm sure a few of you would have looked over the weekend at the Chepstow entries because we had a chance to do that, right? When they come up a little bit earlier, it's good to get excited. It's the start of the season, and Road to Cheltenham, he shares a lot of stuff on there about horse that are going in there, right? I'll go through them in race order. Like I say, we're doing a proper preview on Wednesday, so you get full depth in there. But there is a bet that I like, right? First race it comes in as well, right? The Veterans Handicap Chase. So there's lots of points with veterans, right? There's horses that get held back a tiny bit, or when they're running against like the elderly companies, so 10 years plus, maybe their rating carries a little bit better because they're not running against such good horses. This particular Veterans Chase, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of the 12 that are 10 years old. So that little logic and narrowing down of what's going on with it falls apart a little bit, didn't it? Because we've got too many of them at that sort of price. I'm going to quickly, sorry, bear with me 1 second. I'm just sending Jamie another link because he's FaceTiming me. Anywho, so the one that I quite like is I Write. Goes well fresh. I can't believe the price that he is. He's 7-1. You can get with Bet365. I think he's 11-2 with Unibet. Goes well for us. He has been jocked up with Ryan Mania on. He's a horse, right, that will be running in grade 2s, grade 3s after this. And this, as much as it's a particularly nice race at the start of Chepstow, is a much weaker class than he's been in. Hasn't won since he's gone to the Harriet Graham and Gary Rutherford, but it's the same yard as it was before. So when you see those changes in there, it makes no difference. Maybe their operation, maybe they've had some difficulties or stuff that's going on there, but I think he's way too big a price. I reckon he'll go off short. So I Write is one that I would very much recommend having a bet on. I will say this, right? Unfortunately, short-term anti-post is absolute suicide. So he's 7-1 now. I don't even know how much short we're going to get. It depends what the final decks are, but we're going to try and see if we can find out. Normally, if you email this particular yard, they'll let us know. So I'll do a proper in-depth part, give reason and all that sort of stuff behind it. Anyway, the Persian War Novices Hurdle, right? This is a race where second season novices is a different type of term that you'll hear through the season. So, and I'm going to see if I can get the light on. I feel like I'm too dark. This might blow up the laptop. Live TV, please do not swear. Is it in? That's what she said. Oh, God, here we go. Oh, I've come alive. Don't know whether James will be back, but anyway, I'll carry on. So, yeah, the Persian War. So, you get second season novices said as a phrase, right? A second season novice, as far as I'm concerned, is a horse that has run as a novice for a full season and then is going to run for another full season as a novice. Because of the time of year that this falls into, you will have horses that are novices that have lost their novice status when it comes to later in the year. I think it's maybe this November. Anyway, some point in the year, I can find out on the BHA stuff. But they're eligible to run it even though they have already run in hurdle races and won it. So you can have horses that have a little bit more experience, a little bit more forward. But sometimes, and I say sometimes, I say more often than not, that bias is not worth its weight in gold, right? It's not worth even paying attention to. So the ones that are going to be most interested in here, depending on whether they run or not, is going to be Johnny Who. He is entered up in, I think, 2.5 mile maiden at Chepstow. Well, he's entered in a couple of races anyway. So whether he goes here or not, we don't know. But I know that JP does like to have a runner in here. And obviously, we've got Captain Teague as well. Now, Captain Teague's a horse that I'm going to talk about a bit later on in the season for the fact that Doyens, there'll be loads of these horses, like your Battle Over Doyens, all of them. Like, I had a whole list. I've got an Excel sheet I can share at some point if anyone's interested. Doyens do not age very well, right? So the time to catch them is while they're whippersnappers. So we obviously saw we had a decent bumper campaign last year. Maybe that bumper might not turn out to be as good as it first looked. We'll have to find out. But Captain T is going to be popular in here, and I can see why. And I'm not using the fact that their longevity for Doyens is going to make a difference now because he is only a 5-year-old going 6, but it is something worth thinking about, right? This horse should peak and achieve everything he's going to achieve over hurdles. So I am not giving this horse any excuses as it goes through the season. So I tend to be nice with some horses. They might be a bit more backwards. I think Paul Nichols knows the same as well, right? That this horse is going to have to do his bits this time of the year. I don't think we're going to get Jamie back, right? So I'm not going to go through all of the Chepstow stuff, especially not on my own. Where can we get the Excel sheet? I mean, I can share it. I'm going to set something up, right? So I've got a pricing calculator as well, which I'm going to do with someone soon. So someone messaged me on Twitter asking if I could help them out with pricing up markets. I have a pricing tool that I've set up in Excel because I can code and stuff like that, where you can put the prices in there. I've got 6 selections, so I use it for the dogs. And then it will automatically round it to 100%, which is where you need to bet out. So I'm going to do a video sharing about that, but I'm going to share an online, some sort of share thingy where I can share my profit and loss spreadsheet, tools like that. And I'll share this bit of information where anytime I do any research to save anybody else doing it again, I'll share it up on there. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Jamie. He's back. What happened, mate?
The power went in the house. It flicked and the internet went. So
vile. Well, anyway, we've covered a bit of Chepstow. So I've basically said that I Write will win the Veterans Race 7-1's Monster. Going to try and find out if he runs, but I think he's too big a price. I touched on a little bit with the Persian War. You know that, like the second season novice thing. An actual second season novice is a horse that's completed a whole season, hasn't won over hurdles, that gets to run again, like retains its novice status. Whereas second season novices for this will basically be horses that they'll refer to them as that may have already won a novice hurdle, but they're still allowed to run in this because of the time of year that it is. And I don't believe that means that they're so much better than the other horses. I think the fact that they lost their novice status so late in the year proves how crap they are. So I don't think it balances out. But I was basically saying that Captain T is going to get no excuses for me at all this season. You know how much I like a little Nichols romantic novice hurdler. Doyens don't really train on. Captain Teague will peak as a novice hurdler as far as I'm concerned. It's not a horse that will do anything he does over hurdles as a bonus. What he's going to do now as a 5 and 6 year old is as good as we're going to see with him. And I was just saying that I've done some work on all the Doyens. I've got an Excel sheet that shows their peak ratings and all different pieces of where horses fall by the wayside, which I'm going to start sharing with people as we go through the season. Friday, was there anything that jumped out for you for Chepstow already? I mean, be aware that we've got to hold something back for the viewers for Wednesday.
Not really, Dave. I suppose you probably took the words out of my mouth, but it'd be interesting to see this horse that a lot of people are saying that won at Taunton, that won Donny Who. He might run against Captain Teague, but I'm a big, massive Captain Teague fan, so hopefully as we get on to Wednesday that he'll be declared to run, which I presume he will be.
Nichols Hurdler, you're a big fan of. I think your microphone may be in your beard. Just
no, I'm a very big fan of him.
Does your microphone move?
No.
There we go. Sorry, I think it was in the beard. We're all getting a little bit of beard for a bit of bush. But yeah, no, he's a nice horse.
But he is a nice horse, yeah. But he's not. He's like you love him anyway because you're a Paul Nicholls super fan. Do you know what I mean? Like to know about your Hermes Allen and your
I'm just desperate that there's a Henderson horse as well this year. Rather than, like, so I want there to be some substance. I want there to be a crop of 5 or 6.
Ian Rayner love you for that now because that's all he does is tip Henderson horses.
I know, but I'm begging for Captain Teague. I want because we're not going to find out about him until he goes there.
It'd be nice to see Paul Nicholls and Henderson take on.
Yeah, get like a few of them get a good crop. Like end up with 4 or 5 good novice hurdlers over here because every year it's shit. Let's be honest. Hermes Allen was probably the best British hurdler last year. I know Stay Away Fagos and wins an Albert Bartlett, but anywho, for Saturday, right, there is a French horse. You know, you were talking about sires with a dream to share, all of that sort of stuff. Liari, I don't know if that's the right way to say it. It's probably Welsh, supposed to be Chiara or something like that. But Paul Nicholls has got a French horse, which is typical Paul Nicholls. 4-year-old going to be running in that, or it's a 3-year-old, so he's running the juvenile race. Cracksman's the dad. So I remember Solo Saxophone was the first Frankel horse to win over hurdles. We've got a Cracksman horse running on Saturday. But you know what, like the same people that will be poo-pooing a dream to share that won a bumper saying that its sire's no good will probably be betting this. Just saying it. You know what I mean, right? An unproven sire, and on one hand, if it suits their agenda, they'll do it, and if it doesn't suit their agenda, they'll be on. There is the 4-year-old handicap hurdle on Saturday as well. There's the Silver Trophy, which is I have got one in there that I really, really like. So I mean, I can give you a little allude to it. I need to make a bit more of a case for it. He's gone again. Oh, this guy's a loser, isn't he? Right, we're just going to bin him off now. We'll keep him out of there. Wonder if I'll just take all the overlays off. Right, so anyway, I'll talk to you about this one. So the Silver Trophy, a race, I think Ballyandy maybe won it a few years back. Something along those lines. Anyway, there was a Twiston Davis horse that I got a little bit excited about that I ended up backing. There's a couple that I'm semi-interested in, right? Molly Ollie's Wishes, I want to try and make a case for her to win any sort of race. I think her mark's too good, but she hasn't really been shown anything. But American Sniper for David Pipe, he does seem to target this meeting and tends to do okay within here. He's a horse that I bet and laid, I think, at Chepstow. He went off with Tom Scudamore. His Liberty Hunter was the Evan Williams horse. We're just putting it up on the old racing post here. So Liberty Hunter was the classic Adam Wedge Williams horse, and they're all saying about, oh, it's great. It's the plot horse, been absolutely smashed up right. Travelled all right, but this American Sniper was a horse that I made a bit of a case for the race anyway myself, and they kicked on with him. So when they did early on, he was still trading at, I think he went up for 15-2. Still get 12s, 14s after they jumped the first couple of hurdles because this Liberty Hunter they all thought was a good thing. And I ended up just backing him. So I was doing £25 a time, but I was expecting the price to come in so I could cheaply lay it a couple of points and then get a bit of a free roll. I think I ended up having maybe 600 or 700 quid worth of those 25 quids on there. And then I was just laying it like a point or so shorter. And then as it got closer to the end, even though I thought American Sniper would still win the race, I did just do the little cash outy type thing on the exchanges where it just settles it if your profit reaches a certain amount. So I think I made a few hundred quid out of the race. But I do think this American Sniper is quite a nice horse. And that is going back to Chepstow last season, where I don't think the form of it really does stand up. But I do think that this horse is better than like 120s-ish. So I need to build a bit more of like a solid case for that one. But he's won in the silver trophy I like. And this is the first time I've looked through the 4-year-old hurdle. I remember a few years ago, Terrafort was one that I really liked, taught myself out of it, and I'm pretty sure he bolted up in this. And then he went novice chasing. But anyhow, there's a few that are interesting here. So Blue King Daru's an interesting one. He won at a big price, didn't he? Which killed me because I had a good bet on him at Cheltenham, I think, when he pulled up. And then he won at 50-1 on handicap debut. But there's a few potentially interesting ones in there. Again, like nothing particularly jumps off the sheet at me to begin with. I mean, Alpha Deal, I'd be interested more if Nichols ran that instead. But anyway, we're going to do the preview for Wednesday. And as I say, I'm going to tell you all my bets I'm going to be putting up. So Thursday night, I will share all my bets for Friday. Friday night, I'll share all my bets for Saturday. The GG Weekend Watch will be there if you want to have a look at the ITV race as well. And Wednesday, Jamie and I will be back. I mean, hopefully Jamie back as well with a lucky guest. So we'll announce the guest on Wednesday. But I appreciate your support, right? We're going to record that Wednesday night. So I will publish that very late Wednesday night, or it'll be on Thursday morning, just because, you know, live TV's a little bit tricky. But appreciate your guys' support through the season. Anything you fancy, like, please do let me know, whether you comment on here or you tag me in Twitter and all that sort of stuff. I want you guys to let me know what you guys fancy too, because that's part of it that's good. Right? I'm going to keep talking about Hermes Allen for the rest of my life. Right, Jamie's not going to come back. He just said his power keeps going off. So I can just imagine his missus just watching EastEnders and it's going off. Do the Irish have it? Oh yeah, the novice chasers decent entries. Yeah, Nappers Hill's in there, isn't he? There's a couple, isn't there? There's a 2.5 and then there's a 3 mile novice chase. Is there? What time's the big one on Saturday? Yeah, the 2.5 Saturday, isn't it? Onyx. I mean, it's not that good, is it? Is it the 3 miler on the Friday? Anyway, if you've got any questions or anything you want to quickly peel up now, let me know. Yeah, Jamie's disappointing, mate. I say this, I can't guarantee, but gamble responsibly. I guarantee I'll get you a couple of winners at Chepstow. We'll make money. Where's the? I'm sure there's a 3 mile novices chase as well, unless they've mixed it about a bit. Anyway, I'm losing the plot. It's getting late. It's bad viewing for everybody right now. Again, appreciate your guys' support. We'll wrap it up there because Jamie's obviously, Jamie out Scotty in. So I should have done. I should have sent an invite to you, Scotty. You could have come on. You're getting a microphone, so we'll get you in next time out. Anyway, I'm going to pop out to the gym. Like I said, there's good racing coming up now. It's going to start to ramp up. We've got some decent guests coming in. There's going to be lots of stuff that's going to end up pissing you guys off because you'll probably be watching more racing. Do feel free to email it into Ranting and Racing 1, right? If you want us to remain anonymous, don't need to mention names. I won't mention names, especially if people are picking holes in anyone or anything like that. But it's like it is good to get it out. If any of you guys ever want to actually come on, be part of the show, be on, I'm more than happy to have anybody on, to be fair to you. So I know it can be a bit nerve-wracking and all that sort of stuff, but you got to start somewhere, especially if you want an opportunity to, not to like get into like racing or whatever, but like you can only learn by doing, can't you? So again, if anyone ever wants to come on, get on there. We're going to sort out some guests to start getting people in. So obviously we're going to have Cheltenham meetings coming up soon. We've got lots of decent racing in November, like serious amounts. So I'm going to try as best as I can to get some more people in as much as we can. It's nice to be nice and support each other. But yeah, I'm going to end the stream now. I'm going to go off to the gym. I'll be back Wednesday night with that preview, but you might not see it till Thursday morning. Thursday night, I'll tell you my bets. Friday night, I'll tell you my bets for Saturday. And then we'll review it all again this time next week. Be lucky. Have a good week. And again, thank you all for the support.